What's up, Nitro Nation? Welcome to another segment of the Nitro Cave and the Muggy Maniac wrench session. Actually, not doing too much wrenching, more just cleaning. Welcome all newbies, middies, oldie but goodies, Muggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, Truggy Maniacs, Monster Truck Maniacs, and let's not forget the 5th scale, off the hook, 50cc, 90cc's, hybrids, all those crazy 5th scalers. Welcome. So anyway, this is a follow-up video to my little rip session earlier today. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The Muggy, man, I love running this thing. It is so much fun. It's not the fastest. It's not the most durable. Although this thing's taken an ass whooping plenty of times, and I'm surprised I haven't broke more shit. Because it's not built, I mean, like the Techno, okay? It's not even built like the MBX 5R, the race buggy, okay? And it's not built like the Mugen, okay? It's not even in that class. It is definitely one of a kind because they don't make these anymore. They discontinued these things many years ago. So I put a lot of time, effort, a lot of quan, a lot of ducats, a lot of bones, snaps, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of cheese into this bad boy, okay? I don't run it a lot, just because of the fact that parts are really hard to get, although I've got pretty much enough parts to build another one. Excuse me. But anyway, it ran really hard today. Ran strong. Like I said, it's just fun, man. I love running the Muggy. You know, it doesn't handle, you know, like my other whips. But this thing, man, with this stock, bone stock, out of the box, 28.8 Rex Legend is plenty. I mean, plenty for this old school. Now, if I was to put this stalker in, let's say, my MBX 7 TR Race Truggy, or if I was to put it in my Techno, you know, it's not going to do, you know, it'll run good, but I mean, those platforms are used to modified. I mean, the only other platform that this thing really just cuts loose is in the Mugen Buggy. I've ran this bad boy, this stalker, in the Mugen Buggy, and man, tell you, man, this is just it's a total package, man. It's a badass stalker, even better modified. I always recommend it to any newbie that might be watching. You know, you can't go wrong with the Rex Legend, man. Yeah, the .32 is a little bit bigger. You know, maybe a little bit more power. Definitely not more torque. This thing is just a torque monster, man. This is a torquey ass motor. Okay, and you run the 053. I recommend. Do what you want, but the Muggy Maniac recommends the Dynamite 053 with the standard conical header it comes with on the stock Rex Legend, and man, that's about as the perfect combo, man. I've always ran this combo on this motor since I've had it. This motor's, you know, over 2 gallons in now. Fires up the very first time. Man, all you got to do is mess with the high-end needle, you know, lean it out a little bit, or it just likes to run fat. It's funny, the stock, and just most, I mean, any Rex Legends that I've had, I mean, I've got a few of these. They don't like to run really lean. You're not going to get too lean because it'll bog out top end. So they just like to run fat. They run strong. You don't really need to lean them out anyway. And you know, I like that because it's just more protection for the motor. Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I want more power, you know. But once you get these things modified, you don't need to lean them out too much, you know, unless you want to blow the thing up. So, had a couple issues. Okay, nothing major though. The one right off the bat is, if you've seen my other video, if not, watch it. Don't watch it. I really don't care. But this video will make more sense if you watch that little BRAP session. This Hi-Tech, it's not a high-end. You know, let me tell you something about Hi-Techs. I've ran them many, many, many years. I've ran a lot of different servos. And just, they're not... Mid-level Hi-Techs, I mean, the higher-end Hi-Techs are good. Mid-level Hi-Techs like this, you know, like a real expensive Hi-Techs, they're not very durable. They don't last that long. This one's getting pulled out of here after I'm done with this video. Probably going to toss it in the trash. I really don't give a shit. I tossed the front one that already went out in the trash, and I'm just going Savox. I'm thinking about trying some Protex out. I hear a lot of good things about those. I'm going to do my homework on them. They're a little bit more pricey. They don't really have a budget. You know, I'm just not the guy that's going to spend $150, $200 on a servo. You know, I spent money on servos, but when I'm racing, if I'm racing, that's different. I don't race that much anymore, especially not now during the winter time, so I'm not going to invest, you know, tons of cash. I'm looking for a budget servo. If you're looking for a budget servo, let me tell you, you can't go wrong again with these, let's see if I can get a focus in there. The Hi-Tech SC0254MG, man. Plenty of torque for this, even for this fat pig, 11 pound, and my other truggies. Plenty of torque, plenty of speed. You know, not the top of the line for a Savox, but for, you know, 30-something bucks or whatever, you can't go wrong. I beat the shit out of those servos, and never had a problem with them. Okay, I know guys that use that. It's like the secret weapon, or I shouldn't say secret weapon. It's always a backup in any guy that I know that races. They always keep this. That's how I found out about these servos. Just in case they need an extra, one goes out, one of their high-end servo happens to, you know, get jacked up or something when they're racing. They've all got these SC0254MGs in their box, okay? Great servo. So for the price, you can't beat it. You know, Hi-Tech like I said, Hi-Tech makes good servos that are more expensive, but for price range, budget-wise, durability, torque, speed, Hi-Tech doesn't really have anything. Either does Protec. So I've only found, as far as I know, so far I haven't found any Savox other than this one that's just all around good for bashing. I would even use it for racing. Hi-Techs, like I said, I mean, in their customer service, I had issues with them in the past, so that's why I really don't even deal with them anymore. So this is the last, I think I got one more somewhere. I've got one or two more of these, whatever they are, Hi-Tech servos, HS something, whatever, that, you know, I might run it into the ground and then toss it too. So it just has I might try using, I have glitch busters because it glitches. It's getting like mad glitch, and when you have any kind of glitch in your throttle servo, excuse my language, but you really don't want to fuck with that because it's nitro. If that shit locks up on you, your shit will run away. You know what'll happen is I would get on the throttle and it would run on a little bit, and it was the servo. It had nothing to do with anything else. Trust me, I troubleshooted everything, and it's that this servo is out of here. So adios, Hi-Tech. Got another Savox, tossing them in there, and we're just going Savox. So other than that, I didn't have any. Oh yeah, I did have another issue. You see in my video, I was talking about brakes, trying to, you know, my brakes got a little kind of, they faded. Well,
Here, let me show you why they faded. There we focus. You'll see my finger go in here. See that right there? That's the main screw that holds in your, and you can see the other side, I'm wiggling it, that holds in your brake pads. Okay, now this behemoth has 3 brakes. 2 discs in the front and 1 in the back. Because it's such a beast. I mean, as far as this a fat pig and heavy, it needs a lot of stopping power. So anyway, if you see this screw right here, it's a long bolt. The other side, if you can see the other side over there. Here we go, we're focusing. Damn camera. Sorry about the camera. Oh yeah, another thing. Sorry about the end of the video, the last video. I don't know. I had the thing pointed 2 down. Anyway, you guys seen some brapping. My camera work, you know, what can I say? I'm not the cinematographer, YouTube guy or the guy that makes the flashy videos. My videos suck for most of the time, but hey, I do what I can do. Okay, so anyway, you see the other side of that? It's missing. It came out. So I lost the main stud that goes in there. But it had one in the back, so it was still working okay. It's just, that's what the problem was. I don't know how the hell that came out. These are pretty long. I thought I Loctited them. I might not have put enough Loctite. That's the first time I've ever had, ever on any of my whips, lost a bolt out of my caliper. I'm praying to God when I get in there that it didn't break off, which I doubt. Because then I'm fucked, excuse my language, because I'll have to drill the shit out. But it just fell out. Anyway, that was the brake issue. Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, check this out. DE racing rims, right? Awesome rims, man. I'm telling you, man, when you run bigger motors, modified or not, just anything bigger than the .21, you got to really check your shit, especially if you got them in older platforms. And for, you know, I don't know why, but guys that are running modified motors and big motors like this and Traxxas, you're going to just, trust me, man, this motor, because it's torquey, is going to tear some platforms up. And this one's well built. Okay, I went through everything, but again, every time, seems like, not every time, but most of the time when I run this stock 28.8, because it's so much torque, the vibration, I gotta check everything, especially on this thing, because it just rattles shit loose. You know, shit gets stripped out sometimes. If you don't put Loctite on it, it comes out, whatever. But anyway, check this out. This is the second time that this motor in this platform has wreaked havoc on rims. Now this is, you know, my off-brand ZD racing tires, which I like the profile, that's why I run them on this Muggy. But these are the 4.0, the 4-inch DE racing rims, okay, badass rims, and I run them on, you know, I run them on my Techno, I run them on my, and my Mugen MBX7 TR truggy. But anyway, check this out, and it had, I tightened these things really good. Here, check it out. See that in there? Yeah. Rounded that bitch. It's not completely. I mean, it still works, but if I continue to run it, that will definitely strip out. It pretty much already has. So, I contacted I forgot the company that I got them. I don't want to have to go directly through DE. If I have to, I will. Never had this issue before, so we'll see. I've had the other company that I never had rim issues. They just replace them. I've had tires. I'm usually pretty good about that shit. But we'll see. I won't know until tomorrow if they're going to replace them or not. I hope so. I mean, they're not real expensive. They're 20 bucks for 4, but still, I fucking have to unglue the tire, take it off the fucking rim. Excuse my language. It's just a hassle because, you know, these tires, plenty of knobby left on them, and now I gotta take them off the rim because that rim is toast. So, and let's see, any other issues? Servo, brake, that. Oh, you know, nothing major. We did some flips after I got done doing that video. This body is just beat. I mean, you can see where I've repaired it. This is the only platform, well, not the only platform, but one of the only platforms that I have that there's no replacement
there's not other aftermarket bodies that they make for this platform because of the way it's set up. It doesn't have a. I've seen guys. Maybe I might think of running running the rear braces that come up with a spoiler or a fin on it. You see these. It just has the little up kick. I just like this. It's the body that goes with it. It's stock. They're not real thick. Not even as thick as the Pro lines, which aren't real thick, but they're thicker than this. And hell no, they're not as thick as JC Concepts. If you want to get a durable body for bashing or racing, whatever, I recommend. That's what this is the Techno body that I customized with my superheroes on there. Zah, we got Spider-Man. Zah, we got Superman. Captain America. We got Flame on there. Human Torch. This is a JC Concept. Way better looking. If you see the stock, bone stock body on the Techno Truggies, they suck ass. They look like a freaking alien. I hated that body. I'm glad this one came with a blank one that I got the chance to customize. This was my first custom body that I done before I even did the God of War one. But these bodies, man, this body is like freaking thick, man. This is like 5th scale thick shit. Okay? Thickest, toughest, one of the toughest bodies I've ever had. So Pro lines are okay, but JC Concepts are very, very thick. So if you want a good looking body, and I know they make them for a lot of the platforms, the low Cs, you know, the Associated, the Technos and everything, get a JC. I wish they made something like, the only other body that will fit on this damn thing is a Traxxas slash body, and hell no, I'm not putting no damn Traxxas shit on my ride. Again, you know, I really, you know, not to bash on Traxxas too much, but like I said, it is what it is. Traxxas is garbage, and I won't ever put anything on my vehicles. Traxxas, I don't give a shit. I won't even use Traxxas diff oil. Put it that way. And they make a lot of diff oil. And I heard supposedly it's okay, but I won't even use their diff oil, okay? So, anyway, the Muggy is running strong. This motor, man, I love. Again, I can't praise the total package, people. This 28.8 Novarossi Rex Legend, I recommend it if you want a next level big boy motor above the .21s that, you know, everybody runs or whatever, or, you know, people put .21s. Like I said, a .21 does for the Muggy Maniac, okay, what John Bodejo, if you watch him, there's everybody watch or seen his videos, you heard John say, bone stock motors do dick for him, okay? Nothing, okay? He's just so used to modified that the only reason I run this stocker is because it's, you know, it complements the Muggy well. The Muggy is an exception to stock motors because that 28.8 with the 053 dynamite in here and the setup that I got, you know, the life clutches, and the 50K diff oil in the front and rear of this thing, and it doesn't have a center. It's kind of like the equivalent of locking out a diff. Goes well, and it's the only reason I run it, and that it was my first, and is still my first big boy man-sized motor, okay, even though it is stock. Obviously, you guys know I have the modified one, and I have another one brand new in the box that I'm probably going to get modified too. You can't have too many of these motors, man. These motors just, like I said, man, they're the full package. The LRP .32 is a bigger motor, yes, but you got to do too much shit to it for it to, you know, to be, you know, at the level you want it to be, okay? This thing, stock out of the box, is just reliable, easy to tune, runs great, quality, lasts forever, takes a bashing, beat the shit out of it. I mean, I've flipped this thing. It still pisses me off because this is the only motor that I have where I've got a scuff on, because this thing here doesn't have a wing to protect it. So when I'm tuning it, I run it a little bit without the body, and I even did today, and it flipped a couple times, but it's in the grass, so this was on the concrete. Freaking pissed me the hell off. Man, that pisses me off. I almost want to find get a brand new and replace it, just because I'm anal about that shit. So anyway, it doesn't affect the way it runs. But, yeah, that's the total package. If you're a newbie, MIDI, you haven't had a big boy motor. I hear guys, you know, .25 Roma, that's a great motor. Stock, it's nothing compared to this. I mean, there's a lot of bigger, better motors than a Roma .25. Although, you know, little by little, if you're the guy that's doing the baby steps, you've only had .21s, a .25 Roma's good because it's Nova Rossi, man. You're getting the quality, man. Nova Rossi, hands down, is one of the best quality motors out there. Besides the only other one that I've seen, I've taken them all apart and ran most of them, and dissected them, is the Reds. The Reds is the only thing that's as equal or even a little bit better as far as machined and the quality than a Nova Rossi. But basically they're the same motors, because if you know anything about Nova Rossi or about Reds, Mario Nova Rossi, the son of the late great Caesar Nova Rossi, the founder of Nova Rossi, his son is the one that started Reds and, you know, basically is Reds, okay? So it's a Reds motor. A Reds motor is basically a Nova Rossi motor, just another level, okay? I think that I wish Nova Rossi would up their game, but you know, hey, at least they're still making these motors, you know, which who knows how long that could be discontinued. You never know the way Nitro is. But yeah, it's a badass motor. If you're looking for a good, reliable motor, stock, out of the box, easy to tune, nice and torquey, strong, reliable, durable, all that shit, get one of these, man. Forget everything else, okay? But do what you want. I'm just telling you from my experience, you know. But anyway, so we're gonna change the gearing on this. It has, I don't know, the Muggy here is supposed to have it has a 2-speed in it, okay? The 2-speed clutch deal, let me pull this shit off anyway, is still in here. But I'm not running a 2-speed. I've taken out the second spur gear because the bell housing, which is over here, I've busted 2 of these. Okay, they're just really the company that makes these for the XTMs. It's just shitty metal. So if your meshing is just even a little off, or I mean, it's not even the meshing. Isn't why these broke. It's because when you adjust the second speed where that hook kicks in, because it runs on a centrifugal, it goes by centrifugal force, which means it spins, and this little hook at a certain, depending on how the tight or loose you have it, it comes out, grabs the second gear, which this is actually second gear. This is steel. If you run plastic spur gears, this is what you're gonna get with a Nova Rossi 28.8. I don't know about other motors, but with a Nova Rossi 28.8, even stock, this is what you're going to get if you're running plastic spurs. So be fair warned, if you have plastic spur gears or anything plastic drivetrain wise in your vehicles, Traxxas people, you better have steel gears, okay, with a Nova Rossi stock, let alone modified, or you will get this shit. See that? Rounded. I stripped I don't know how many of these till I woke the hell up and said, you know what am I doing? This is when I was, you know, first running the Nova. Okay. This is when I was a newbie. I'm not a newbie. By the way, for your info, a newbie is somebody that's been doing Nitro, E-word, whatever, less than a year. If you've been doing it longer than a year, you're no longer a newbie. There's no excuses, okay? But if you've been doing Nitro for longer than a year, you're not a newbie. I'm not a newbie anymore, FYI, okay? Does it mean I know everything? Hell no. I'm learning a lot. I'm still learning, and I've been doing Nitro for going on 4 years straight. Eating, sleeping, breathing, shitting, Nitro. I'm not no part-time Nitro guy. This is a full-time gig for me as far as I do it and think it, and I'm always thinking Nitro. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming about Nitro. That's how much that I'm into it, just so you guys know. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not a newbie in this, but I still learn a lot. Once you stop learning, I don't care how long you've been doing anything, you put a cap or a limit on yourself, which is pretty dumb. You should always be learning every day. Trial and error, it's the only way you learn. So for you newbies, people that have been doing Nitro for a year or less, do not run plastic gearing, spurs, drivetrains in any Novarossi motor bigger than a .21 because you will rip some shit apart. So anyway, this is the second gear, which is how it works is first gear on the first gear on the XTMs is a 12 pinion and a 60 to 61 spur, which is on here right now. I've got 13 pinion, 61 spur. So I've got plenty of bottom end. As you've seen in my video, this fat pig, this 20.8 stalker pulls the front end up on this fat 11-pound fat ass. Okay? So, yeah, this thing is a torque monster. You know, that's why this motor really never ceases to amaze me, because to pull the front end off any truggy, if you know anything about truggies and you know, pulling the front end up and the torque and the gearing and the diff and all the, just everything to get these things to hook up, it's a lot. Okay, your motor's got to be, you got to be hooked up, clutched, diff, oil, gearing and everything right to pull the front end up. Okay, I'm not talking going off a jump and pulling the front end up. I'm talking about just nailing the throttle, hitting the corner and nailing the throttle, and the front end just comes up. Okay, this motor pulls the front end of this thing up, and if you look on my video, and there's probably parts you missed, this thing was pulling up the front end all over the place. Stock. Okay, but anyway, it just doesn't have a lot of top because the second gear doesn't kick in and because of the way it's geared. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to take away some bottom. If you go smaller, like if I put a 12 on here, I'll get a little bit more top end, I'll lose a little bottom. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 13 pinion. I'm going to just experiment, since I'm only running one gear, since I'm waiting for this company. It takes forever, like a month to get the parts for this thing sometimes from this company. These are two of them that I broke, the 2-speed bell gears. They're supposed to send me a new one. I just might not even run second gear anymore. It's not a big deal, although I kind of like it for the muggy. I like when it kicks in the second gear, you know. But anyway, this is the second gear on this thing. Originally is 17 pinion, 61 spur. Okay, so when it kicks in the second gear, it's going from a 12 pinion and a 66 spur to a 17 pinion to a 61. That's where you're getting the top end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it at a 13, maybe a 14, because that's a big jump from 13 to 17 or 14 to 17. But either way, I'm going to try to throw this on there and get a little bit more top end. I really don't need a lot of top end. It just winds out. This motor wants to keep pulling, but it kind of levels off because of the gearing right now. But it runs really good, man. Like I said, I bashed it pretty good, flipped it a few times, rolled it over. That's why this body, I'm gonna have to do some fiberglassing. Gotta break out my fiberglass kit. This body is just freaking beat to hell. I'm gonna try to find another one. I think you can get another one, but they're like $50. You know, and they're already painted. They don't come blank. So, but anyway, either way, I just want to get another one. I really don't want to jack this body up because I like to keep my shit, especially old school shit like this, original. So that's up with the muggy. Muggy's gonna get cleaned up. It's not too dirty. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. You know, I'm gonna pull the tank out, drain the fuel like I always do, empty my lines of fuel, which I always do, and I suggest you do after you run your shit. Clean out the pipe, get all the excess oils and shit out of there. You know, do what you want. But I'm just telling you, every time you run your shit, I would clean anything where the fuel or exhaust has been through, and, you know, which is your pipe, your fuel lines, your tank, and definitely, obviously, your motor. Get all the old fuel out of there before you shelf it, because this one's going to get cleaned up. We're going to address the issues before I shelf it again for, you know, a bit, because I got to get back to breaking in my mods. We're gonna go buggy style. Next video. the Mugen Badass old school freaking tank, one of the most durable that I know buggies out there. And this is the old school. This is the MBX 5, man. Remember, they got 8s out. So this thing's probably as old as the Muggy, okay? But it's got the R5 Team Edition Reds .21 with the, there you go. There's the RB mod tattoo on that sucker. This thing needs to continue to get fuel ran through it, and it's just going to get stronger. It's already a beast, but it's going to get nasty out there, and she's set up and ready to roll. Just got to figure out which tires I'm going to roll on it. Maybe I might throw the mags, might throw the dishes on there. Who knows? I might even throw the Proline revolvers on there. Those are pretty gummy, very light. But anyway, she's gonna rip next. Then after her in line is the 28.8 modified. I've got it up there, right next to my LRP .32 and the OS .21. Those two are brand new still. Barely, not even really broken in. They got a little bit of fuel to them. They're broken in, but they're still brand new. They don't got even freaking a quart through them, barely. I think they've maybe got a quart. But that one there, that's the modified 28.8 Rex. That one's coming. It's already set up and ready to rock and roll. That's coming down. Going into the MBX, I'm going to do a couple more upgrades. I got another body for this thing coming. Same one. Proline, and I think this is called the Enforcer or something. I like the body style of this Proline for the Mugen MBX 7T. I'm going to do a custom paint job, so stay tuned. That will be coming in the near future. Not real soon, but we will get another body coming. I'm going to not spoil it. I got some plans for a sick-ass body for this thing. So anyway, that's what's going on with the with that platform. Like I said, this one's next on deck. We're going to run the Mugen buggy. We're going to rip the shit out of it. Get that red ripping. We've also got the Technos dialing it in. I got some other goodies coming for this thing. I mean, really can't do too much to this thing. It's got everything. You know, I do love my Muggy. Obviously, I like my old school buggy. You know, I like my nostalgic old school shit that they don't make anymore. One of a kind shit that people don't have. You know, because this one has you know, my personal touch in it. You know, all the aftermarket shit that I did to it, you know, from the 18.5mm shocks to, you know, all the titanium and aluminum and you know, shit that I've got in it. But you know, fact of the matter is, the Techno is the creme de la creme, man. This thing is just state-of-the-art technology, man. This thing is built very, very well. Sick-ass truggy. Do I like it better than my Mugen, and I have two Mugens? Well, if I had to compare the Mugen MBX 7 to this one, it's pretty even. Both easy to drive, both very durable. I mean, but this Techno is just, the technology, man, is just, you know, top notch. But anyway, I might run this one next after the Reds, the Pico. I don't know, I like the Pico. I'm liking the Pico, you know, because it's the only Pico that I have, and the Pico runs strong, man. I love the Pico. Compared to the Novarossi Rex Legend, it's pretty close, man. The Pico .20, the only difference is this one's got one less port. It's a strong-ass motor, torquey-ass motor. It's pretty compatible. So if you want something compatible to the Novarossi Rex Legend 28.8, there you go right there. The Pico P3 .28 7-port. They're inexpensive, so they're very budgety. I got a killer deal on this one. If you look around, you can find these for less than $200. Around the same ballpark as the Novarossi 20.8. So, you know, and again, the Rex Legends are $190 delivered to your doorstep, man. Absolute hobby.
got them all day long. Just keep in mind, it comes with the new carburetor, which I really don't care for. It runs okay. Just Rick at RB Mods mentioned to me, do not mess with the mid-speed idle. Leave it alone, or you will have problems. So I've just left it alone, and you know, I just still don't like it. But you know, it's for more fine tuning. It's the mid-level needle is designed if you're racing, which you don't race .28s. You know, they don't race them. But if you want to dial it in and you're just a real technical guy, you know, I can be. I don't care for the mid. That's what the mid needle's for. But as long as you don't mess with it, it really doesn't affect the carburetors. The Novorossi carburetors are just the best carburetors out there, and what could I say? You know, I would, if they fit, I would run them on everything I have. I would run them on my Pico. I run them on my Reds. I'd run them on, you know, my OS up there. You know, definitely got to run it on the LRP .32 because that carburetor sucks ass. So anyway, that's it. This video is getting long. Muggy Maniacs is babbling. That's all I got, you know. Again, you know, whoever's doing the work, shout out to, you know, my Nitro brothers out there. I know Raja's, you know, got that video I just watched, you know, on the .21s. But, you know, like I said, to each his own. Everybody's got their personal preference. Just .21s don't do nothing for me. Again, like I said, they do as much for me as a stock motor does to Mr. John Botagiel, you know, which is nothing. Unless they're modified. Now, if you want to talk modified, okay, we can talk .21s. But I'm not going to spend those $400 on a .21 modified when I can get one of these badasses for $190 and another $100 for, you know, $300 flat, pretty much modified from Rick at RB Mods, and it's a sick ass motor. Okay, remember the LRP .32 is a good modified motor also. Okay, don't know too many people run them stock, although they're okay stock. But again, you got to change the carburetor and all that shit. Strictly out of the box, bone stock, hands down. The Novorossi 28.8 Rex Legend is the best motor. Price wise, not having to do anything maintenance wise, tunable wise, durability, quality, everything. Again, let me emphasize, total package, that motor. Okay, spank that 21 ass all day long. Okay, and will outlast pretty much anything because it is an Novorossi. So enough said. And if you don't agree with me there, well, cool. Don't agree with me. To each his own. Experience it for yourself. But I've got 3 of these, modified stock, and I've got the other motors too that I mentioned, but this motor is just, it's all around. Definitely recommend it, like I said, to a newbie. Okay, so everybody, Muggy Maniacs, out of here. I got to do some cleaning up and get this thing all dialed in as far as addressing the issues, and get ready to chauffeur. That's why it's taking up my main surgery table, because it's getting all my attention right now. Then we're going to make sure we go over the Mugen MBX and the R5 modified Reds, because that's going to go, that's on deck next. And then I'll decide whether I run the Mugen with the 20.8 Rex Legend, but more than likely I'm going to run the Pico in the Techno again. So, well, it hasn't ran in the Techno too, that's why I want to run it in the Techno. Be a first time running in the Techno. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Beautiful weather in Southern California. Yes, we are blessed. You know, I feel for you guys out there in the East Coast dealing with all that shitty weather. But hey, you know, no excuses. Do what you got to do if you really, really want to run your shit. Okay? Because I don't know how anybody sits around, especially I know you guys that have got all the time and money and all the goodies and shit invested in, you know, your nitro shit, and you're just not even running your shit, doing whatever, you know. Maybe you're just too busy. But I'm never too busy for my nitro, man. I didn't spend all this money and invest
and turn my freaking room into a nitro cave to sit on my ass and not run my shit for weeks. Hell no, that ain't ever happening. Hell to the no. So, again, I'm out, people. Remember, you guys that have shelf bitches that aren't running them, make sure that piston bottom dead center. Alright, don't jack up your shit. Make sure it's got plenty of after run oil in there. Especially if you're storing it for a while, don't just rely on WD-40 because that shit will still lock up. Put some real lubricant, 3-in-1. Best shit, okay? But anyway, that's pretty much it. Okay, people, I'm out.